Ok.
Eu queria saber, ainda no âmbito dessa questão de sensibilização porta a porta, estando longe a um momento de Covid-19, eu gostaria de entender como é que tem sido essa sensibilização, olhando mesmo para o aspecto Covid-19. E a outra questão, eu gostaria de saber, quando uma rapariga é resgatada dessas uniões prematuras, qual é o segmento, o que é que vocês, qual é o protocolo a seguir? Uma vez que uma rapariga, normalmente, quando sai de dentro de uma união prematura, ela está muito traumatizada. Eu gostaria de entender se há um protocolo a seguir ou se alguma coisa é feita com esta rapariga.
Well, there are basically two questions here. The first question aligns with the former question on door-to-door conversations with parents. So considering we are in a COVID-19 context, they want to find out from you, how did you manage to conduct these door-to-door conversations? And then the second question has to do with the rescued girls from early marriages. They want to know what is the protocol that you follow aligned with the rescued girls from the early marriage. What kind of follow-up did you actually do once you've rescued these girls from marriage?
Bom, eu gostaria de saber, após a realização e iniciação de atividades, qual foi o impacto das uniões prematuras, mesmo na perspectiva de querer saber se, obviamente, houve redução dos casos?
So, last question has to do with the impact of the activities that you have already developed. What is the impact of the activity? Can you actually, at this point, manage to weigh the activity? What kind of change that you were able to spot or see from your interventions?
Thank you, Mozambique, for those questions. I will
Over
give
to
the
you.
floor to. Thank you so much. So,
Okay, I want to start with the first question about the door-to-door. How did we connect the door-to-door? The door-to-door meetings, actually, they are the first meetings and also the first initiative which we use. And this door-to-door actually allows for the in-depth dialogue and conversation with the parents. And also, it was used as the one way of like the preventing measures for COVID-19. You know, with the COVID-19, we are not allowed to be in a large number of people in the same place. So the door-to-door meetings, that means we are limiting to have the large number. Actually, we only have the 2 or 3 people where we maintain the social distance, putting mask. That's how we have managed with the door-to-door meetings, just to raise awareness on the sexual reproductive health and safe sex. That's the first question. And then the second question, I combined the first question and also the third question on the COVID-19 and also the door-to-door meetings. So our aim with the door meetings was to have the in-depth dialogue with the parents. Though some parents did not accept in the positive way, like they had the sexual reproductive behavior. Like the argument was, once they encourage their children to access to this services, that means they are opening the door for sex. However, with and also some parents, they try to express their view in groups. So door-to-door meetings, actually, they provide a good chance to them to express their feelings and how they view without anyone listening to them, only us. So it was the conversation between us and them, not in the group number. And also, in so doing, we are also following the measures of preventing the COVID-19 measures. On the impact, we have both the negative and also positive impact. So, Chief, we want to take it in that question, the third question on the impact.
Though has helped us to reach those who have disabilities. There are some people who cannot access to walk into some places where we made as a youth organization, youth club. So we can say that Do has helped us reach those with disabilities. A negative ones, in every Do, sometimes we do with some with disabilities like give to communicate with them, it was too difficult. So I can say that positive impact is we was reaching people with disability. But negative impact, we was trying to communicate with those who have problems in speaking like this. Yeah.
And also, just to add on that, on your photocopy bonanzas, the impact of the photocopy bonanzas is that we use these activities to raise awareness messages on Srhr, dangers of child marriages, and also importance of education. So once we have the photocopy bonanza, that means the winner, different teams, they do compete, and the winners receive the award. And also, because we have a large number of the youth in the photocopy bonanzas, we take it as an opportunity for raising awareness on the sexual reproductive services, and also encouraging girls and also including boys on the importance of education. Don't forget about our aim of ending child marriages. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Malawi. Thank you so much for your responses. I'll just give 1 minute to the others if they have any question, and then if not, we will clap for Malawi and move to the next country. Do we have any other questions from participants from Tanzania, Zambia, Zimbabwe? All right, so I will let's clap for Team Malawi. Thank you so much, and please do share the presentation with us so that we will circulate it to everyone. Thank you, Team Malawi.
Yes, on the issue of rescuing girls from the early marriages or the child marriages is that us as a young activists, we do report it to the community leaders, and then the community leaders, maybe we have experienced that kind of the case or the issue whereby the issue about the child marriages. So as a young activist, we reported to community leaders, and our community leaders are very supportive of that, and they take the issue to police or other organizations that are like the social fair plan that actually focus on the girls' lives. So from there, it's when the young children, especially girls, have been rescued from this kind of practices. Thank you. We're done. Thank you for your listening or any comments or questions.
Thank you, Team Malawi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you so much. Let's move to the next country.
Matt, sorry for interrupting you. So we have a young person who wants to ask a question.
Is okay.
Yes.
Team Malawi, sorry, we have another question from Zambia.
Okay, my name is Mr. Bontes from Zambia. I want to confirm from Malawi, how is door-to-door sensitization working effectively during this COVID-19 period?
I think Malawi has addressed that question, but let me give the floor to Malawi. Hello, can anyone hear me? I think I'm having challenges with connection.
Okay, thank you, Ms. I want to respond on the question about the door-to-door meetings. Actually, door-to-door meetings is the good measure for having the depth dialogue or the depth conversation with the parents individually. Some parents, they are shy, cannot express their idea on the group. So we want to know their views. So to understand their view, it's when we conduct the door-to-door meetings. And also we are aware that we are in the COVID-19, so the groups are not encouraged. So the door-to-door is the good measure of COVID-19. It's a preventive measures for COVID-19, like we only have conversation with maybe one or two individuals instead of having the large number or the large group of the people. So it's a good measure on following the preventive measures for COVID-19. And also it's a good initiative of addressing issues or to articulate issues individually instead of mobilizing a lot of the people in the group. Some of them feel shy, they cannot express their ideas. So we wanted those people who cannot express their ideas in group, and then we reach those people so that they can express their idea if others are not listening to them, only us. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Team Malawi. If we don't have any other questions, let's move to Team Tanzania to present. Team Tanzania, can you hear me?
Yes, Meti, we can hear you.
All right, so welcome and please, the floor is all yours. And you have 10 minutes. You can unmute and start.
Thank you, Meti. Can you hear us?
Yes, Helen, you could put the PowerPoint in presentation mode and start, please.
And can you see our presentation?
Yes, Helen, we can see it.
Thank you.
Update presentation from Tanzania. Experience from the communities, action taken and progress made on ending child marriage and preventing teenage pregnancy. lays best practice and progress, lays awareness to parents and relatives on harmful effects of child marriage at family levels. This has been done from our family level. We were able to talk to parents, neighbor, caregiver, and relative on harmful effects on child marriage and early pregnancy. We compose and cover message of harmful effects of child marriage through sports competition, bonanza, which will be held at community level. Our target was the community to understand harmful effects of early pregnancy and child marriage, and also parents and the community to be accountable for the safety of young girls. Okay. Encourage parents to interact and listen to young people, view and idea at family levels. Also, this was done through talking to parents, neighbors, and relatives on the importance of listening to young people at family level. Because when they listen to us, they will know what we want. We want to make a decision by ourselves and hold someone to make a decision for us. Through this, it's helpful to create confidence to us and speak out our challenges and idea in our everyday lives, family level. Through this, some of community members, we are able to understand our rights and put them into action as children and youth. We become ambassadors of ending child marriage through the use of social media like WhatsApp and Instagram to create public awareness against child marriage and the importance of Srhr to use. First of all, as youth, we have our WhatsApp group whereby we share different matters, issues which concern us. We compose and combine the message which explain about harmful effects of child marriage, then share to family members and friends through social media. This is one of the ways which is to reach a wide group of our communities.
So this is Frank. I will also continue. So we encourage each other to speak out about any children and young people concerns. We report different issues, especially which concern children or youth protection. For example, one of us reported to her parents about a student who was not able to attend school anymore because her parents wanted her to assist in farm during this farming season. Therefore, a follow-up was made and she was able to go back to school. In addition to this, we understand all the reporting procedures within our community. Again, we have been engaging religious leaders and traditional leaders to support us in advocating and awareness creation on the importance of sexual reproductive health and rights services to use during religious events and community meetings. So this has experienced during our implementation of the above explained. Most of the community members are supportive to her during awareness, and now they are aware of the harmful practice which may lead to child marriage and teenage pregnancy. The child protection committees in our communities are very supportive in case we have any issue which needs to be addressed. For example, if it happens that we want to report a child marriage or teenage pregnancy issue, they usually take the lead in this. And some of the CSO in our areas are also supportive. They have been inviting us to participate in different forums. Example, during this year International Day of a Great Child, we are invited to be a part of the commemoration of the International Day of a Girl Child in 2021. Again, we have some challenges. One of the challenges is when creating awareness on the importance of sexual reproductive health and rights to youth, some of the religious leaders are against the use of family planning and contraceptives and the whole idea of girls accessing Srhr services. So it has become a challenge as we lack support from some of them. Again, it is lack of funds to create awareness through radio programs. We create awareness on ending harmful practices which may lead to child marriage and teenage pregnancy. Also, we create awareness on the importance of Srhr services to youth, and also we create awareness to our fellow youth so that they can speak out confidently on issues affecting their rights. So we wish that we could have session at local radio, which is listened by both men and women, children and youth in our communities. But the challenge is that we don't have fund or support to have a session in local radio for the right number of the community just to hear us out. And another is lack of support to youth, especially out of school youth, on economic empowerment so that they can be able to have self-employment and avoid temptations. So that was the presentation from Tanzania. And this is an example of the picture. Some of the event on raising awareness to the youth on the Srhr matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Tanzania. So I will open the floor for questions from Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique on the presentation by Team Tanzania. So let's hear from the others.
Firstly, on the interactive.
Okay, Team Malawi, please go ahead.
Yeah, what was the most negative impact of interacting with family? That is the first question. Second question, how did you help those who have no mobile phones or those who have the WhatsApp phones? That was the first question.
Did you get that, Tanzania?
No, sorry, we didn't hear the question.
Yes.
Can you repeat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Team Malawi, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question is, how do you help those who don't have smartphones, like those who have who do not have WhatsApp phone? Since you said you use like Instagram, WhatsApp, just to raise awareness. That's the first question. The second question is that what are the impact, both positive and negative impact on raising awareness and family rather. And so we have the third question here.
I just want to add using the WhatsApp as well information. So on media, use of media, it needs illiterate people. What about you, illiterate people? How do you approach them? Yeah, when you are using social media, what is the impact? Positive and negative. I want to know. I just want to know the way, the way you use it on any child marriage, because we're just telling us on raising awareness, but they didn't give us the details on how to prevent the marriages and how many
are being prevented from getting married or being withdrawn from marriages.
Sorry. Can you repeat please the question? Hello?
No, is it just us from Zambia, or there's no one speaking at the moment?
Hello, we can't hear you either from Malawi. Are you guys there?
Yes, we are here. Can we start answering the questions?
One of our youth from Zambia has got a question.
Hello, hi everyone. Sorry for the interruption. Can anyone hear me? I think we have, all right. Team Tanzania, sorry for the interruption. Please continue with the presentation and addressing the questions raised by, I think it was Team Malawi, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you, Meti. So we were able to.
Hi, Tanzania. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we were able to note some of the questions. So our youth representative will address them.
So the first question was asking, like, how did we reach those young people who do not have access to smartphones? So we used to go direct to the community, whereby they are most of them are found in the villages. So we used to kill the raising awareness session to the community level, whereby we got to reach them directly. And another question was on impacts, negative and positive impacts on raising awareness at the family level. So the positive ones are, first of all, it is very easy to raise awareness at the family level because there are not many people at the family, and you can easily address the awareness to them. But the negative ones, sometimes they see us like we are disturbing them because we are young and then they are elder. So they see like listening to the young people, it's like weird. And another is sometimes it's a source of conflict because sometimes our mother and the families are trying to understand us, but the problem is with the father, who is the head of the family. They tend to act like we are disturbing them, and we go beyond the culture. So that's the negative impact. Another question was, how do we approach the religious leaders on the issue of raising awareness to the sexual and reproductive person rights? To be frank, sometimes it is difficult to approach them, but we are trying more in our level best to reach them. Especially we use some events. For instance, for we Catholics, we have various meetings with young Catholic workers. So through those kind of events, we used to engage them, the religious leaders, together with young people, to discuss on the matter of youth. Also, we used child protection committees, who are also members of the committees. Yeah. So I've been remembered here that even these religious leaders are the members of the child protection committee. So through this way, it's very easy to approach them and view them, and just have their permit to speak on the issue of Srhr, since it is difficult to speak those issues at the level of the region. So maybe if that's all about, maybe if there are some questions that we have been not yet addressed, so that you can repeat them, because we didn't hear some of them. Hello? Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, the questions were addressed, and we're asking if there are other questions which we were not able to note them down, so we can address them also.
So Are there, okay, I think the Mozambique has a question. I can see their hands raised. So Mozambique, please go ahead.
Well, first I would like to congratulate you for the presentation and for the fact that has been emphasized here, the fact that you managed to put some children in school who had no way to return, and assuming that almost all African countries, school dropouts are still a serious problem. I would like you to I would like you to share here what are concrete activities or strategies were carried out to achieve this goal. Thank you.
So, hello. So just to share the experience, we shared this case when we heard about the problem. We shared this to the Child Protection Committee, whereby we are just informing them, but most of them implementers to make sure that that young girl is returned to school. So we already shared the information, but the Committee on the Child Protection worked to ensure that the girl is returned to school.
Thank you.
Como conseguem conversar com as outras crianças, por exemplo, que não foram à escola, e aquelas que foram resgatadas das uniões prematuras, como é que tem sido esse trabalho? Como é que conversam com elas e com os encarregados de educação? Como é que tem sido?
A minha questão é como é que fazem chegar a informação, no caso dos usuários, para os que não têm acesso à mídia? Disseram que sensibilizam as comunidades onde são envolvidos esses indivíduos. Também gostaria de saber dos resultados que essa sensibilização trouxe. E também saber como é que descobriram que essas comunidades que se sensibilizaram são as que têm problema.
Okay, the translation for these questions that have been posed, the young lady who spoke, she wanted to know how do you cope with the other children who are not attending school, and also those young children who have been rescued from early marriage in terms of ensuring that they are taken back to school. What kind of work do you actually do in that respect? And there are a few more questions by the gentleman who was here shortly. The first one has to do with the people who have no access to media. How do you manage to raise awareness for this very specific group? And the other one has to do with what are the results that you can see so far from the work that you've done on this awareness raising. Last but not least is how did you come to map or to identify such communities where there are problems that you need to address them? What kind of work that you did which enabled you to identify that community A or B are the ones that have got the problems that you need to address? And that's all from Mozambique. Over to you, Tanzania.
So the question number one was how we cope with children who don't attend to app school. So in our level, we don't implement we are not doing some efforts to make sure that the children are going back to school. But what we do in our level, it's we just share on the information on the particular children so that the committees are the ones who making the efforts to make sure that the children are returning to school. So we'll put the required sectors, e.g. The child protection committees, just to work on the problem, but we are not direct working to ensure that they return to school. We just share the information. So another one was people who don't have the social media. We have already answered this. Maybe to the last question, that how do we identify the problems in the communities? So we are the representatives from the whole country, which means that we are not coming from the one region. So as long as we are the network of the young people here in Tanzania, we have the representatives who are from the community level where the problems are found. So that we can understand and identify which community is most vulnerable. So that's all about. Hello.
We can hear you. So,
and having more is each member of the network has a responsibility to raise the awareness on his or her respective area. So yes, we are over.
Zambia has a question. Okay, I would just like to make a response towards the presentation that she had made recently. And well, some of the activities that they engage themselves in include radio sensitization. I would like to find out what criteria is used in picking the participants of this radio sensitization and how effective is it once you pass these sensitizations on the radio. And another thing that I would want to ask about concerning radio sensitizations is that of feedback and follow-ups that are made to the key messages that you have each time you are on radio. How do you get feedbacks from the people that are listening on radio? And if so, how do you make follow-ups on some of the responses that you get from the listeners on the radio? And another question that I would want to ask is that one that was addressed by Malawi. Malawi had asked a question about how they make their interventions, how do they sensitize people that are not on social media, Instagram and WhatsApp as well. My question is, how do you have any interventions? How do you make it during these interventions or dialogues? How do you get your response feedback from the people that you are sensitizing or the people that you are putting on board to help you with this sensitization? You had made mention of the traditional leaders. if they have, if in a case where they receive certain issues about child marriage or teenage pregnancy, how are you as youths or champions of change involved in such situations? And how do you get follow-ups and make assistance or assist those people who have come in need of your help? Thank you. We have another question from
I'm
Zambia.
sorry, can you repeat the last question? Hello? Can you please repeat the last question?
Okay. Malawi had asked a question about what interventions are taken outside social media, such as WhatsApp and Instagram. And the response that you had given towards that question was you engage traditional leaders and other dialogues as well. One question that I would want to ask about the response that you had given is, how do you get feedback and make follow-ups after these dialogues or interventions that you have put in place? And how do you give assistance, champions of change or youth in your various areas? Thank you. We have another question.
This is Moka from Zambia. So the question that I have for Team Tanzania is that how have you been raising awareness in areas that are in remote locations, but part of your working areas? Because as part of your activities, like you mentioned, you did not mention how you have been reaching out young people in very remote locations on the activities that you do. Also, maybe a bit of more amplifying on the aspect to do with social media. So the WhatsApp group chat that you have formed, is it only for you guys as champions of change, or it does accommodate other people outside the champions of change? Also, how do you measure a bit based on information that you provide on social media platforms? You talked about Instagram and WhatsApp as well. How do you ensure to say, okay, this number of people has been reached, or this target has been reached? How do you get feedback on this? Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer the first question that the Miss she asked about the radio program. We actually wrote that on our presentation that it is rather a challenge, that we would wish to do a radio program that a lot of people who are living in local communities, they listen to radios, and that is our wish, that we wish that we could do audiovisual type of content where we could reach them more and spread awareness and educate them. But due to lack of funds, we are lacking enough funds for us to create that type of content. We cannot do that radio programs. We mentioned it as a challenge rather than something that we have already done or accomplished. And going to the next question, the person asked what interventions are we using to reach people in the local communities, and remote areas. One of the interventions that we're using is through field visits, and from field visits, when we meet them in person, we get their direct feedbacks. They get to give us their direct feedbacks, and apart from that, most of us are coming from local communities and local NGOs, local organizations, and because of that, we do not have enough funds for us to reach them and conduct field visits in a lot of local communities. So actually that is also a challenge for us. And going to the last question,
Going to the last question. Sorry. Okay, and adding to the other question, what the specific interventions that we're doing is that we're working with different youth at community levels in order to reach a lot of people. For instance, all of us here are coming from different regions all over Tanzania, and all of them, they're all representing a particular organization, which is dealing with also a particular group of young people. Hence, if a person in this specific forum is going to spread the word about the specific things that we have discussed here, the same people are going to spread the word to other people, and that is how we're able to reach multiple people through the word of mouth. And child protection committees. Thank you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Meti.
All right.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you, Team Tanzania. If we don't have any other question from other countries, we would like to thank Team Tanzania and give the next presentation opportunity for Team Zimbabwe. Or Zambia, do you have question?
Yes, we do have a question. The last question came from Moka, and his question was on the members of the WhatsApp group that the youths are created. So his question was that, who are these people who are part of the WhatsApp group? Is it the people that are trying to reach out to, or it's just youths that are part of the group? I don't think she did address that question. So Moka really wants credit on that one, and everyone else is here.
All right, Team Tanzania, could you please address this? Team Tanzania.
Thank you, Meti.
So the ones who, the group of people who reached us through the use of social media in WhatsApp group, it's ourselves first, and through because we're representatives, also we have a group of young people in our respective NGO, whereby we used to reach them through the awareness sessions in WhatsApp group. So that's it.
Okay, in addition to what we said is that we also have our groups which are not in WhatsApp or social media to be specific, whereby we're spreading the information.
Thank you, Team Tanzania. I hope the question is addressed. Team Zambia, if so, please thumbs up. Zambia?
Thank you, Mate. I think I would say partially.
Partially. Oh.
Yes.
So maybe, I mean, I don't know if which part is not addressed. If you could just
so their follow-up question was, during their presentation, they didn't really clearly say, yeah, it's them as a group. They said they use the WhatsApp to disseminate information to the people they're trying to reach out to. So which really somehow contradicted to their answer.
Oh, really? Okay. Tanzania?
Yes, Meti, can she clarify her question?
Okay, so the question was, who are the people who are part of the WhatsApp group? And your answer was, you as youth are part of the WhatsApp group and you use that platform to share information, which in return is an individual responsibility to reach out to the next person. Was it that what you say?
Who are the members of your WhatsApp group?
Yeah,
What's the
maybe
question?
to help to clarify this, the youth meant that they are, first of all, as they have their own WhatsApp group, and also each one of them have their fellows, their friends, where they use that platform to create awareness. So apart from the WhatsApp group they also have other groups where they disseminate the information about awareness creation. Yes, Zambia.
I think it's well understood, so we can move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Zambia. Thank you, Tanzania, for the presentation and the discussion, the question and answer, and your participation. Please let's clap for Team Tanzania. And then I will give the floor to Team Zimbabwe because they have asked us to give them the next opportunity to present. Sorry, Zimbabwe. Team Zimbabwe, ready?
Yes.
All right.
Hello.
So let's try to meet our 10 minutes time limit for your presentation, and then we'll give the rest of the time for discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As Team Zimbabwe, we are going to illustrate on our progress on the efforts to end child marriages since April 2021. So Jipo with me here is going to help us to illustrate or to explain further the actions which were taken. For the first effort, we did community advocacy.
Okay, so community advocacy involves a ward level advocacy and marches whereby the community gathers around both the elderly people and the adults actually, and the youngsters. They gather around and they are taught the education, they're educated on child marriages and early child pregnancies, and they are given information of how they're supposed to handle these issues. And then we also have the issue of community space to advocate, whereby when events are hosted in communities and they are advocates in between in those, they are also there, they participate in those community events, and then they're given time to express and advocate on behalf of the girls and on behalf of child marriages. And then we also have the issue of reporting of cases among partners, whereby people in communities, they report the cases and rumors of children who are being abused, children who are being involved in early child marriages and teen pregnancies. And then we actually did follow-ups as to what's happening in the background, the family atmosphere, how it is, to see what's going on, and then would actually take them up to voluntary organizations who can actually help them to handle their issues in a better way. And then we also have the issue of birth registration, whereby as youth we advocated on the spreading of the message of mobile birth registration, since it's still a new thing in Zimbabwe, and it's actually an easier way of getting registered and getting all your documents. And then we also have partnership with non-governmental organization and other stakeholders such as Simukai and then CCWs who would actually help us in advocating. They would help us to carry out our campaigns and handing out booklets and t-shirts which could actually reach to the community so that they have the information they need to handle early child marriages. And then we also have moving to the next point, Tadiwa.
Okay, the next point were exchange visits or meetings that were held virtually or.
Okay, so on the issue of exchange visas, we have hosted various workshops that also celebrate important and significant days like the Day of the Girl Child, the Day of the African Child, and in these workshops we could actually, we were assessing these issues of child marriages, and we were teaching those. We would invite various youngsters who would come and help us initiate the event. We teach them how to spread the gospel out there of ending early child marriages. And this was very, beneficial because we actually found out cases which actually came up, more reported cases were coming up, and we did follow-ups on what course of action to take in order to help these people. And then we also attended various meetings such as the GMAC meeting and the Girls Summit, which was implementing child empowerment, girl child empowerment in support against child marriages.
Okay, thank you on that. Moving on, I see we also work with the traditional leaders. Can you elaborate further?
Okay, on traditional leaders, we have attended workshops with various traditional leaders, very influential ones, such as Chief Makombe, who is also part of the parliamentarians of Zimbabwe, right? He's very influential. So we would get to discuss issues of child marriages and the age of consent, and then we would give him our views of what we think should be taken by the parliament, what course of action we also think the parliament of Zimbabwe should consider concerning these issues. And so we would give him what we think, and then we would discuss, we'd come up with strategies and objectives, and then he would, raise them up to the higher hierarchy, to the parliament, and then they would be addressed. So in that process, we see that there are certain views, such as the view of marriage, which was taken into consideration and aligned with the Constitution of Zimbabwe, which is quite an achievement that we managed to achieve.
Okay. We also invest into projects which help us to earn income as young Zimbabweans.
Okay, so on project, we have been engaging these youngsters into us youngsters and the others. We've been engaging into various projects such as poetry, craft work, pottery, sewing, and these were very helpful in empowering the girl child to become independent, to stand for herself, to be able to get a source of income in order to survive, in order to end the child marriages, since poverty is one of the causes of child marriages. And some of us who have been also initiating and running projects whereby these girls they order things from South Africa through runners, and then they start selling these things, doing their personal businesses, which would also help them to earn an income.
Okay, moving on, there was advocacy on initiatives.
Okay, so advocacy, like what we once discussed earlier before, advocacy is simply, sending messages, spreading messages, voicing for the voiceless. So we have been doing various forms of advocacy, such as media advocacy involving the newspaper, the press. We have been writing articles, we have been presenting on radio shows. We have a show called Young and Amazing, whereby we talk about issues of child marriages, how they can be addressed. We teach the people out there how they can handle these issues. And some have been coming up, reported cases have been coming up, and we're helping these youngsters so that they know what course of action to take. They know where to receive the help they need.
Okay, on the issue of the Young and Amazing program, can you tell us did people respond very well to your program?
Yeah, people did respond very well. People came up and we actually linked them to some organizations who can actually help us with the resources that they need, such as those who need, like some of them, they go into marriages, for example, right, because of poverty and because of financial distresses at home. So we'll take up these children and, link them up with organizations that funding organizations such as Plan International and Sinkai, which would actually help them to go back to school and finish up their careers. And they Okay, so we have achieved 3 milestones so far. The first one being we have one of our students who got a doctorate from the World Health Organization after efforts he made in advocating against child marriages. 19 years old, but he's already achieved such a good, such a good medal in the issue of child marriages. So we are so happy that it's something that we are proud of, and it keeps us to keep pushing on this issue of advocating against child marriages. And then the next milestone we had is the issue of awareness levels rising. We have seen and discovered that this advocates we have been doing through radios, through campaigns, through workshops has really helped and contributed to more cases being reported. People have been coming up with these issues. Some of them would hear them as rumors. They would just come up and then we do follow-ups. And it's something. There's a decline in the number of cases because people are coming up. They are revealing themselves, what's going on in their lives, and it's such an achievement to us. And then we have lastly the drafting of the marriage bill, which is also a major milestone to us, simply because these young people, our ideas as young people have been discovered by the government of Zimbabwe, and so they are really trying their best to realign their laws with the laws and the contributions we gave them with that of the Constitution of Zimbabwe.
Okay, thank you, Zico. Besides the progress and the efforts we've done, did you face any challenges?
Yeah, we faced a few challenges. One of them being the alignment of laws, which can also be a drawback because some of these laws are very, they're too powerful to the extent that, it takes a lot of time for us to achieve some of these laws. So we are still patient and we're still working on it, but at least we got the bill of marriage, which is actually being worked on at the moment. And we are glad that they are also recognizing the voices of the youngsters and what they need, how their issues also want to be addressed. So yeah, that's one of the challenges. And then another one is the issue of poverty and the COVID-19 pandemic, which has also led to to a certain rise of these child marriages. And there's another a variant that has just come up, and we're actually scared now that more cases are going to rise, but then we are really positive about it, and we're looking forward for a better way to solve this again, so that we keep trying and advocating against ending child marriages. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're most welcome. And with this, we thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team Zimbabwe. So over to you, Malawi, Zambia, Tanzania, Mozambique. If you have questions, for Zimbabwe on their presentation. So I will give the next 5 minutes for questions. Please raise your hand as we. Tanzania, over to you.
Okay, so Zimbabwe, you have said that you advocate for. Thank you so much for a very nice presentation. You have articulated it very, very well. Thank you. I want to ask a question. You said that you advocate on child marriage, but you haven't explained how you advocate for child marriage. So my first question would be, how do you advocate for child marriage, to be specific? And the next question, how successful have you been in doing follow-up with child marriage cases? And are you doing it as youth or as under an organization? Also, you have said that you reach people through the media, newspapers, you write articles, but can you share with us how do you find funds? How do you get funds to support your activities in spreading the word in the media? That's all for now.
Thank you, Tanzania. So over to you, Zimbabwe, to address these two questions, and then we'll go to Mozambique for questions.
Okay, so the first question she asked, thank you for giving me this chance. So the first question you asked was how we advocate, right? So I once mentioned that we advocate through our ward level. As youth, we gather in our small communities and small groups since the COVID-19 is still limiting us to have huge gatherings, right? So we gather in these small communities, teach each other, we hold these small meetings, right? We give handouts, give books, and then we get to find the names of those people who have been affected, in these small communities. We bring them to supporting organizations such as International and Simgai, and then they help us in trying to come up with a solution to these problems. They give us the funding, they support us, and then they also help us to manage the procedures of how we can help these children from early child marriages. And we also do road shows, those mobile road shows, since the COVID-19 pandemic has spiraled up. So in trying to limit, we've been doing community road shows and handing out t-shirts, doing mobile networking through the media, like I say, through the radio, through the press. We've even been doing newspaper articles, right, whereby we pushed out the word so that it reaches all parts of the communities. So yeah, basically that's the how we advocate. And then, sorry, the second question you asked who are funds us in this. So we have various stakeholders that help us in the funding. Like I said, we have engaged with ministers and chiefs, those who are on a higher hierarchy in Zimbabwe, right? So these people, they help us somehow because they initiate certain boards. They have created certain boards in the community which actually help these children, such as the BIM, which those who are impoverished, who cannot cater for themselves, which has been really helping in ending child marriages and supporting the education of children. And then we also have Plan International and Srhr, who have been contributing by giving us the resources, the support that we need, these books, these t-shirts, and we have been really helped, and we have managed to end child marriages to a very better extent. And then, sorry, well, I didn't really hear the last question. Do you mind asking again?
Maybe we can proceed to the next question. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think it's okay. You lost it.
Okay, Zimbabwean, thank you for nice presentation. In your presentation, you said you use media as a method of argument. So I have a question that how do you measure the progress of your awareness using media, like the social media? How do you measure like the impact and the impacts of your activities? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
Okay, whenever you're using social media as a part of awareness as you're using the media, how do you measure the impact of your awareness using the social media? Maybe to assess how many the positive impact of your activities. How do you measure?
Oh, okay. Okay, sure. So we make, like, when we host our radio shows, right? We make people phone in, right? Because radio is one of the cheapest means of communication in Zimbabwe. So it reaches almost everywhere in our communities, even in the rural areas. People have radios. So we, through media, we just make people phone in from various areas around Zimbabwe, and then we actually interview them. We ask them their views on the issue of child marriages, and they give us, some of them, they actually report these child marriage issues and rumors, and then we do follow-ups, and then that's when we get to get all these issues addressed, and also help by just encouraging and empowering people through media, just voicing for them, and so that their voices are heard. And we also do house shows live on TV, whereby on TV and even on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, we do short video clips against child marriages, and then we also offer platforms, we post them and advertise them, whereby those who need help can just go there and their issues get addressed, and they are helped out. And yeah, basically that's how we do it on media. And then, sorry, I also left out something.
Thank you for that, for addressing the questions. Please go on.
Okay. I was saying listenership. We also do use listenership as a form of media advocacy. We allow people to give them the number of the radio show platform, right? And then they call even not during the shows. They can actually call us anytime they need, when they need help, and then we help them out, and also do follow-ups, and then take their names or take their geographical locations, go there and get to see what's happening to them and address their issues, and then take them up to the organizations that can help us out to carry out these issues.
Recording.
Hi guys, I think okay, Nick is back.
All right, Jenny, are you back with us?
I stopped somewhere so that I can be able to bring
thank
the
you,
meeting
Team
back.
Zimbabwe. I think we have questions from, is it an old hand, Tanzania, or is it?
One of the youths has a question too.
All right, so quickly we can hear from Tanzania and then give the chance to Mozambique for additional questions. Thank you.
So first of all, congratulations for your wonderful presentation and how you take the questions. So you have said that in raising awareness, you do a lot of shows, handouts, and you distribute the t-shirts. So, and you have said that you get the funds from the ministers and chiefs. So I need to know, or you can share the experience on how do you use some of the methodologies to have the funds? Do you like proposals or what? Can you please share so that we wish to use the methodologies in order to reach many young people?
Okay. Like I said, that we some of our workshops we've called influential people such as the ministers and the chiefs, who have a higher hierarchy in power, right? They can actually approach the highest authority in Zimbabwe, right? So these guys, they help us, and some of them, like I said, they are parliamentarians, and they have actually, approach the government to create community, community services that help to implement against child marriages, right? And then another way we also use is the junior parliament of Zimbabwe. These guys, they have a child president, right? So what they do, they have as a group, the junior MPs of various constituencies, they gather these issues of child marriages and teenage pregnancies, and then they bring them to the child president of Zimbabwe, right? And then the child president brings them up to the president and to the ministers, and then that's when they're addressed in parliament. So through that, we get feedback, and that's when we get the funding. And also, like I said, we also have organizations which also help us in funding, like Plan International, the 18+ project, which help the girls to, to be independent, to empower themselves, to be able to do projects for themselves. So this also was a way of ending early child pregnancies and child marriages. So basically, that's how we obtain the fund for our projects.
Thank you. Octavia, in Mozambique, for your questions. I have seen earlier Mozambique raising hands, so if you don't have any question. All right.
Muito bem. Como é que se lidam com os jovens desatualizados, de modo que eles sejam sensibilizados e consciencializados para que eles possam se prevenir dessas práticas nocivas? Outra questão é a seguinte: qual é a intervenção das culturas tradicionais em relação às uniões prematuras? Obrigado.
Sorry, I could hardly hear you. Can you repeat your question again?
I think we will have translation from Mozambique, so.
Okay, so these are the two questions that he has asked. Is the first one is on how the team, Zimbabwe's team, deals with the youth who are somewhat outdated on the issues related to early marriages in terms of raising the awareness on the harmful practice. And the second question has to do on what is the relationship between cultural traditions as regard to early marriages.
Okay. I didn't quite hear the first question, but let me start with the second one. The relationship between cultural tradition and early child marriages in Zimbabwe is that some of our Shona cultures here in Zimbabwe oppress the girl child so much. You would find that some girls are being married at the age of 13 and 12 years. So what we do now is we talk with the traditional leaders because they are the ones who are binding in the community. They are the ones who make some of these laws. They are the ones who even do some of these things of marrying, younger girls for their benefit, misusing of power. So what we did, we talked with these guys, right? We talk with these traditional leaders and negotiate and liaise with them that what they're doing, some of them is not right, and we negotiate how they can align laws connected to the constitution, so oppressive on the girl child. So that's why these two are connected, because we are getting more of these cases on the Shona, the rural and the Shona people who are actually practicing these things more than the town girls. We're getting more of these issues in the rural background. So we have to address them traditionally and in a cultural way. So that's why they are both connected. Sorry, your first question again, I didn't quite hear it.
Mozambique, can you repeat the question, please? The first question.
The first question has to do with the youth who have no information about the harmful practice, early marriages. So they want to know what is the strategies that you as Zimbabwe do in order to reach out to this very specific group of young people in your awareness raising campaign.
Okay, I think I mentioned about the 18 plus projects that caters for the girls. Sorry. Okay. Oh, I was saying that I think I mentioned about the 18 plus project that caters for the girls, right? It helps to empower them to be independent so that they are not oppressed because of their backgrounds at home. And so that will end cases of child marriages simply because they can do things for themselves. Right? They are independent, they are confident of themselves, they can buy things for themselves, they can even work for some of their families because they're independent, they are not impoverished. And so there is no way they would actually go and get married because of the situation at home. So yeah. Are you answered or should I add more to that?
Mozambique.
Sorry, it seems that this question was not answered. What they want to know is that, generally speaking, there are people who have got some awareness on social harmful norms, but there are others who know almost anything about these harmful social norms. So when you conduct your awareness raising campaigns, what is the strategy that you do? What exactly do you do to ensure that this group of youth who know nothing about this harmful practice are also equally targeted?
Okay, So what we do, we have child care workers that we call from, let's say from the place that are like in town, they're child care workers, right? And they in the rural areas, they're also child care workers. So we give them information concerning child marriages. We give them the funding and the resources so that they can go out there and help those who need their issues to be addressed. So using that approach, it's easier for them to communicate with their people because they already know how the strategies they can use to communicate with these girls. And then also here in the urban area, we also have the same child care workers also who communicate in the way those girls also understand. So that way it's easier for them to be it's easier for awareness to reach all parts of Zimbabwe in a fair way.
Is it addressed now, Mozambique?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. So do we have any other questions from the other countries? Malawi, Zambia, if you have any other questions for Zimbabwe before we move to the next country presenting. I don't see any hands. So can we give a round of applause to Zimbabwe? Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you. So Mozambique, you will be next presenting. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Mozambique, are you ready?
Yes, we are ready. Let me share the presentation.
Thank you. So as Mozambique is getting ready to present, please those countries who have presented before them, Malawi, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, kindly send the presentation PowerPoints directly to me so that we also circulate it to everyone participating, to enhance our learnings. Thank you.
You can see the presentation?
Yes, Octavia, can you put it on slideshow mode? Yes.
It is on slideshow mode.
Okay. So you can proceed.
Boa tarde, mais uma vez. Passo agora a apresentar as melhores práticas de combate a uniões prematuras, atividades planificadas no último workshop que teve lugar em abril, em abril do corrente ano. Como primeira atividade planificada, temos aqui partilhar a informação recolhida no workshop com outros membros que não participaram. Bom, como atividade realizada, foi um encontro com jovens ativistas do distrito para a partilha das principais experiências colhidas no workshop e do plano de ação. Com isso, dizer que os jovens estão a trabalhar nas comunidades, toda a experiência que é colhida em todos os workshops, os jovens sensibilizam outros jovens nas suas comunidades, os jovens que não puderam participar do workshop. Temos também a promoção do diálogo intergeracional. Foram realizados 3 diálogos intergeracionais em igual número de comunidades para debater sobre os desafios de falar abertamente sobre a saúde sexual e reprodutiva e como acabar com as uniões prematuras. Temos também aqui que foram criados grupos de pais e mães modelos nas comunidades. Com atividade realizada, foram identificados e criados 3 grupos de pais modelos nas comunidades para partilha de experiências sobre como abordar questões sobre a saúde sexual e reprodutiva com os seus filhos. É mesmo em jeito de quebrar os tabus e mitos que existem acerca da sexualidade. Com isto, dizer que os pais, hoje em dia, já estão abertos a conversar com seus filhos acerca da saúde sexual e reprodutiva. Quando eu falo de mitos e tabus, estou mesmo a falar, a deixar claro que antigamente os pais, eles recusavam a conversar com seus filhos sobre a sexualidade. Eles diziam que esse é um assunto de gente grande, onde as crianças não deviam se meter. Portanto, hoje em dia já é fácil ter pais abertos, não é, que conversam com seus filhos acerca da sexualidade. Não só, temos também conduzir palestras em comunidades e escolas sobre gravidez precoce e as consequências disso para a vida das raparigas. Foram realizadas palestras em 8 escolas e 16 comunidades sobre gravidezes, uniões prematuras, direitos sexuais e reprodutivos e violência baseada no gênero. Portanto, os campeões de mudança, que hoje nós podemos chamar de ativistas sociais, estão a trabalhar em todas as comunidades do distrito de Jangam, mesmo para acabar com as uniões prematuras. Fazemos palestras nas escolas, nas comunidades, nos hospitais, mesmo para deixar toda a população consciencializada e incentivada na luta contra as uniões prematuras e na divulgação da nova lei de combate e prevenção às uniões prematuras, para que juntos possamos lutar para combater a união prematura, que tem sido um ato muito perturbador no meio social e conduzir as raparigas ao regresso ao seu futuro, que é na escola.
Okay. Right, so they shared the best practice to end early marriages, and they've organized their session in the following way. So there are a number of activities which were planned in the context of a follow-up of a number of activities that they needed to develop after the meeting held in April. And then as a way of verifying whether such activities have been conducted, they've lined here a number of actions which they can see or they've really taken in order to put in place the activities that they had planned. The first planned activity was sharing of information that was gathered throughout the April meeting with the other members who did not manage to take part on that meeting. And as a way of checking that, what they've done is that they've already conducted a meeting with the youth activists within the district to share the major experiences that were collected during the workshop and also the action plan. Another planned activity was to promote intergenerational dialogues. And in this context, they've managed to conduct 3 intergenerational dialogues in 3 different communities to talk about the challenges of openly discussing issues regarding sexual reproductive rights to end early marriages in such communities. Another activity that they had planned was creating groups of parents, that means mothers and fathers who could work as role models. And in this regard, they managed to create 3 groups of parents who worked as role models in the communities to share the experience on issues as regarded to sexual reproductive health rights, whereby these parents were encouraged to discuss these matters with their children. With their children. One thing that they've highlighted about this aspect is that in the past it was regarded as a myth and a taboo in the community, parents to discuss openly sexual reproductive health rights with their children. But because of this work that they've done now, parents can openly discuss these aspects with their children. One final activity in this first slide that they had planned was that of conducting campaigns and also awareness raising within the communities and also schools on issues related to teenage pregnancies and also the consequence of these in the lives of girls. And as a result, what they've done was that they've managed to conduct 8 awareness raising campaigns. They've conducted the awareness raising campaigns in 8 schools and 16 communities on early pregnancies and as well as early marriages, sexual reproductive health rights, gender-based violence within Jangam community, within Jangam district, in all communities. So one thing that I also have highlighted about this is that the fact that there are already established champions of change group working in all parts of the community has significantly helped them in the work so as to target the end of child early marriage in this district. All in all, for this first slide, this is what they had to present to move to the next one.
Continuando, como atividade planificada, reforçar sinergias e coordenação entre jovens líderes comunitários e membros do Comitê de Proteção da Criança na luta contra o casamento prematuro. E foi realizado encontros nas comunidades entre jovens e membros do Comitê de Proteção da Criança e líderes comunitários como forma de divulgar a Lei 19/2019. Troca de experiências entre jovens e MCCPC, partilha de melhores práticas de combate a uniões prematuras. Bom, tal como eu vinha dizendo, são feitas várias atividades, não é, entre jovens e membros da comunidade na divulgação da nova lei de combate e prevenção das uniões prematuras. E o bom disso tudo é que são os próprios jovens que lideram, não é, os seus próprios debates, os seus próprios encontros com a comunidade, mesmo jeito de lutar contra as uniões prematuras entre os jovens e os seus próprios pais encarregados de educação. Então, é uma atividade muito útil que os jovens estão a fazer nas suas comunidades mesmo para divulgar a nova lei e combater as uniões prematuras.
So continuing with the activities that they had planned, the other activity that was planned within the context of follow-up of the meeting held in April was that of strengthening synergies and coordination among youth, community leaders, and members of the child protection committees in the combat against the early marriages. In this regard, a number of activities have been conducted. One of them was that of meetings which were held in the community, whereby youth and community members of child protection took part, as well as community leaders, as a way of disseminating the law 9 held another activity, that of exchange of experience among youth, and also sharing of best practice in combating early marriages. In this regard, they emphasize that the number of activities were held in disseminating the law, because in their view, they see that the youth were very significant, as they were the ones who were taking the leadership in conducting the meetings, and also making sure that within the community, and also making sure that the parents were also involved in this work.
E não só, também prometemos incentivar o ativismo social dos professores para que no final de cada aula deixem uma mensagem pedagógica aos alunos para a eliminação da gravidez precoce e dos casamentos prematuros. E para esta atividade foi realizada uma sessão com os professores para a consciencialização do seu papel na erradicação das uniões prematuras e o impacto da sua voz sobre os alunos. Mas de frisar que para esta atividade ainda existe um desafio, uma vez que precisamos lutar junto com o Ministério da Educação para que nos dê espaço mais aberto, para que os professores se sintam mais à vontade, não é? Na consciencialização dos seus próprios alunos. Essa é uma iniciativa muito boa, uma vez que os próprios professores vão incentivar os seus próprios alunos na luta contra as uniões prematuras e gravidezes precoces, e para que os alunos, né, possam lutar para garantir o seu futuro na escola.
Okay. Another activity that was planned was that of incentivizing social activism on the part of teachers, so that each teacher at the end of the class, they could leave a pedagogical message for their learners, as a way of eliminating early marriages, early pregnancies, teenage pregnancies, as well as early marriage. As a result, they've conducted a session with teachers where they've sensitized teachers on their role in the eradication of early marriages, and also the impact that their voice has towards their students. Emphasize that in this sense, they feel that there's still a challenge on the part of the Ministry of Education, so that this could provide the teachers a space where they could explore as much as they could the fact that they're teacher, and they can reach out to the students and discuss more issues as regarded to this aspect.
Temos também que prometemos promover debates nas rádios comunitárias sobre o casamento precoce, saúde sexual e reprodutiva e gravidez precoce. Essa é uma iniciativa que os jovens de Moçambique prometeram e estão a cumprir. Hoje em dia, os jovens visitam as rádios comunitárias mesmo como forma de divulgação de todas as informações que têm a ver com a abominação das uniões prematuras e sobre a eliminação das uniões prematuras e gravidezes precoces. E hoje em dia nós temos jovens empoderados, não é, neste programa que é os debates radiofônicos nas comunidades.
Another activity which was planned was that of promoting debates on community radio stations about early marriage, sexual reproductive health, and early pregnancy. And there's a number of activities that they've been carried out as a way of following up a promise that the youth made during the April meeting. They've managed to conduct 30 radio debate whereby they discussed with girls who have been rescued on early marriages. So a number of 8 girls were involved, 5 youth, and as well as the healthy providers were also involved. Added to that, they also involved 5 social workers, and 12 debates were held with youth and champions.
Temos temos também aqui a educação de pares, mesmo para melhorar a paridade entre os campeões de mudança. Hoje em dia, os jovens eles estão capacitados a conversar com os outros jovens que não fazem parte do membro dos campeões de mudança, né? Estão mais incentivados na consciencialização dos outros jovens que não fazem parte do nosso grupo, para que ambos possamos estar consciencializados acerca das consequências das uniões prematuras e das causas que fazem com que muitas raparigas envolvam-se prematuramente, mesmo em jeito de eliminar as uniões prematuras, pois tem sido uma causa muito preocupante no nosso país e faz com que o nosso país tenha um baixo desenvolvimento socioeconômico. Portanto, desenvolvemos várias atividades em jeito de prevenir, fazer com que as raparigas não se envolvam prematuramente e garantam o seu futuro na escola. Foram estabelecidos grupos de pares nas comunidades que envolvem 246 jovens não membros do COR, reintegradas, 13 raparigas grávidas na escola e reintegradas 13 raparigas na escola. São atividades feitas, são essas atividades feitas pelos campeões de mudança aqui em Moçambique, como forma de mostrar que os campeões estão mesmo a trabalhar para a eliminação das uniões prematuras.
Well, the last activity they had planned was peer education, and in this sense, they've managed to establish groups of peer education in the communities, which involved the 246 youth of people who were not members of Champions of Change. And added to that, they've managed to reintegrate 13 girls who were pregnant in the schools. And there were 15 girls who have been rescued from early marriages.
Podemos ver na luta contra as uniões prematuras debate telefônico. São vários jovens que aproveitam das rádios comunitárias para divulgar as informações, incentivar os seus pais encarregados de educação e toda a população para a luta contra as uniões prematuras. Temos também, podemos ver também que a televisão ajuda os jovens na luta contra as uniões prematuras. Temos feito vários workshops, participado em vários workshops como forma de colher novas experiências e lutar para que juntos possamos acabar com as uniões prematuras. Temos aqui um encontro de pais e membros de proteção à criança, mesmo em jeito de provar que toda a população está junta nesta causa e estamos todos lutando para acabar com as uniões prematuras, para que Moçambique não seja um país livre das uniões prematuras e para que as raparigas tenham um futuro melhor na escola, tal como dizia o Nelson Mandela, que a educação é a arma mais poderosa a ser usada para mudar o mundo. É uma forma de mostrar ao mundo que os jovens de Moçambique estão engajados na luta contra as uniões prematuras e estão preocupados com aquilo que é a integridade de todas as raparigas no nosso país. Vamos juntos lutar contra as uniões prematuras. Muito obrigada.
Well, just to finish, here's some evidence on the work that the youth has been doing so far after the meeting, the workshop of April. We have here a group, some youth engaged in campaigns of awareness, whereby they're discussing some issues with the youth. And also we've got here a girl on a radio program where she's discussing topics relevant on ending child marriage. We also take part on TV programs, and the TV channels are quite supportive, as we can see from the picture there. and we take every single opportunity we can to spread the message on fighting against the early child marriage. And as a way of evidencing the engagement of parents, we can see also here a picture where some parents were involved in the meetings where we discussed the early child marriage. So this is to prove that the youth in Mozambique are significantly engaged in ending engaged and committed in ending child marriage. And just to finish, she called up on a statement by Nelson Mandela, whereby education is a powerful weapon to change the world. So the youth are engaged in this regard to make sure that the education is indeed empowering every single girl and youth in their community so that they can be the best of their future in the world. And that's all.
Thank you. Indeed, education is powerful. Yes. Thank you, Mozambique, for your presentation. I will just give 2 minutes if there are any questions to be presented to Mozambique before moving to the last country presently. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands. To young people from Malawi, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Zambia, do you have any questions regarding the presentation made by Mozambique? Okay, I see a hand, Tanzania first, and then I will give the opportunity to Zimbabwe. I think Zimbabwe also want to ask. So over to you, Tanzania. Tanzania, go ahead.
Asante kwa presentation yenu nzuri. Na swali, ulisema kwamba mnatumia campaigning katika kupunguza ndoa na mimba za utotoni, but ukusema ni resources zipi ambazo unatumia katika kupunguza hizo ndoa na mimba za utotoni? Either unatumia medias au unatumia njia gani ambayo unatumia, nilitaka kujua.
She is saying that she heard about conducting campaign on ending child marriage, and she's asking, when conducting the campaign, what ways or methodologies did you use? Is it media, is it road show, or community mobilization? Thank you.
Thank you, Mozambique. Please address the question. What mechanisms do you use for the campaigns?
Nós usamos a mobilização comunitária e também programas de rádio.
So the methodology which was used was community mobilization and radio programs.
Thank you. Zimbabwe, next question.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question. My question is, during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a strict lockdown, right? So you talked about your awareness campaigns. How did you manage to continue with your awareness campaigns during this period? And how did you get to help those who were in need during that period?
Mozambique, how did you manage to conduct the campaigns during COVID-19?
COVID.
Nós nós usamos as redes sociais para manter as campanhas para que o trabalho não pare. Porque, por causa da Covid, nós não podemos nos aglomerar. Então, nós escolhemos por usar as redes sociais para não ficarmos parados. Os debates radiofônicos também serviram muito. Os debates nas turmas, nos hospitais, também porque nós falamos que entramos em coordenação com os nossos professores. Então, os nossos professores, no final de cada aula, sempre deixavam uma palavrinha lá para consciencializar os meninos.
So, for them to address the issue of COVID-19 and still continue with raising awareness campaign, they've used the social media. So through the social media, they managed to continue disseminating the message, and also debate through the radio, as well as debates in hospitals, debates in classes. So although there was a lockdown, the schools, when they reopened, then they used the opportunity of these classes that they were held and asked the teachers for a few minutes by the end of the each class, so that they could give some message related to early child marriage by the end of the classes.
Thank you, Mozambique. Zimbabwe, is your question addressed?
Yes, I wanted to ask again, what was the impact of this awareness practice that they did? How did it impact on ending child marriages? Did it really work?
Okay, what was the impact of the awareness raising campaigns, right? Okay, Mozambique, quickly address this and let's move to Malawi.
Como todos nós bem sabemos, nesta época de Covid-19, durante toda a época de Covid-19, as taxas de uniões prematuras tenderam a subir muito. Então, graças a essas práticas que nós vínhamos fazendo nas nossas comunidades, percebemos que houve um número reduziu-se de uma forma significativa a taxa de uniões prematuras. Não só isso, puderam ver durante as apresentações que tem várias raparigas que foram resgatadas de uniões prematuras. Então, isto mostra claramente que o impacto dessas nossas práticas foi muito positivo.
Okay, so as it is commonly known, during the pandemic situation of COVID-19, in many contexts, the number of early child marriage increased significantly. But what they see as impactful on the strategy approach that they've used in raising awareness is that still, although there was this significant increase, they've realized that there was also a reduction in terms of number of early child marriage cases, as it was evidenced during their presentation. Added to that, they've also managed to rescue a significant number of girls who were involved in early child marriage. So they, in this sense, they consider that the approach that they've used was quite impactful.
Thank you. Last question to Mozambique will be from Malawi. Malawi, quickly, please.
In your presentation, I heard that you have managed to sensitize 3 different communities at this period of COVID-19. So my question is, what were the procedures you used when you were sensitizing different communities at this period of COVID-19?
Mozambique, did you hear the question? It's a little bit far for me.
Exactly. Okay, so could you please speak near the mic? Sorry.
All right. Malawi, kindly, could you please repeat the question? Your voice was a little distant.
Okay.
in your presentation, I have that you have sensitized 3 different communities at the period of COVID-19. So my question was, what were the procedures used when you were sensitizing the community at this period of COVID-19?
Question number 2.
In your presentation, you were saying that you contribute or promote or encourage parents to start talking with their children about sexual reproductive. What are the challenges of this awareness to you?
Question number 3.
From this workshop, which was held in April, after your awareness campaign, or having a meeting with the community leaders as well as people, did they agree that early child marriage is a real problem in our country? And they also agreed that they have to take part to resolve instantly.
Okay, we are done with all 3 questions. We are waiting for Mozambique.
Thank you, Malawi. Mozambique, could you please address the questions? I think we have 3 questions.
Thank you, but the problem still persists. So maybe the facilitator can help us in clarifying the question in case you really understood what they've asked. The sound condition is not really helpful.
I had similar issues. I have asked them to chat it on, to type it on the chat. Maybe if that clarifies it. Malawi, could you please put the questions on the chat so that I could read out the questions?
Okay, but the last question was, if you notice the high level of early marriages, do you see that there is a need of the need of frequent response or the agent response? How do you do to respond for rescuing girls from early marriages? That's the question.
Did you get the last question? Mozambique? No?
Yes, the last question I got.
All right. Could you please translate that? And then someone from Team Malawi, please type the other 2 questions so that we quickly wind up with Mozambique's presentation. Thank you. Can you translate the last question from Mozambique?
A respeito da conscientização dos líderes pais, né?
Do you want to address the question?
Ok. Eu queria mais ou menos responder a respeito de como consciencializamos os líderes e os pais. Bom, por questões de Covid, desta doença do coronavírus, nós temos criado pequenas reuniões com um número baixo mesmo, para permitir preservar aquilo que são as medidas do Covid. E assim nós conversamos com os líderes, damos aquilo que é a matéria de combate às uniões prematuras e informamos a eles, ou seja, apelamos a eles a nos ajudarem a expandir a informação de combater as uniões prematuras e assim eles têm ficado informados e, sendo eles informados, têm nos ajudado. Nas comunidades têm nos facilitado a fazer reuniões comunitárias e ali naquelas reuniões comunitárias aproveitamos consciencializar os pais e falamos com os pais também a respeito dessas matérias de combater as uniões prematuras. E também, do outro lado, nós, acrescentando uma das atividades que nós fizemos, nós temos o privilégio de ter a rádio no nosso distrito, então, lá não simplesmente temos debate, mas também entregamos lá uns teatros gravados, músicas, e isso tem ajudado com que os pais fiquem consciencializados por meio desses teatros, por meio dessas músicas, e também nas entrevistas nós abrimos sessões de debates com, posso dizer, com todo o distrito que o rádio alcança. Então, em todas as zonas que o rádio tem alcance, conseguimos conversar e assim expandimos as informações e é mais ou menos isso.
Translation, please.
Okay, so I'm not sure which question this is responding, what is the first, but it's one of the questions that you raised, how they managed to involve the community leaders in this and parents in this context of COVID-19. So they acknowledge that it's very difficult to hold the meetings where there are many people. So still what they do is to meet smaller groups of community leaders, respecting all safety measures. And they talk about the issues regarding early child marriage, and they ask them to support them in spreading the information on early child marriage. And what they see from this work is that the community leaders have been quite supportive. And as a result, when the community leaders hold the meetings within the communities, they invite the youth so that the youth can take this chance to talk to the community as well as parents on matters regarding early child marriage. One thing that they've emphasized is the fact that in the district that they are working in, they are quite lucky since there is a community radio station, and they make use of this community radio station to reach out to the community leaders, everyone within the communities, not only in programs where they debate on early child marriage, but they also make use of other means such as music or theater to reach out to everyone in the community.
Thank you, Mozambique. We have another question from Malawi. They have written it on the chat, so let me read it out and then you respond to that. So the question is, what challenge you encountered when you were encouraging parents to start sharing information about Srhr to their children? Could you please address this question? Thank you. Did you hear me, Mozambique?
Yes, we understood the question. They will be responding shortly.
All right. Can we do that quickly? We still remain with Zambia. Mozambique.
Okay, well, they were discussing so that they could address this question, and from their discussion, this is their answer. Well, since the youth who are part of this project, they come from families, so they use their parents as role models so that these parents can work as role models within the community. And then this is quite an inspiration for other parents within the community to also start to openly talk about the sexual reproductive health right. It is true that they see that there are some challenges, but with the work that they are doing on daily basis, something is quite improving in a way that these parents can be involved.
All right, thank you so much, Mozambique. I think we should conclude the presentation from Mozambique. Thank you. Let's clap for Mozambique. So with that, I will proceed I will invite Zambia to present. I know we're running out of time. This will be the last presentation in this session. Kindly, Zambia, I request you to, as much as possible, present it in 10 minutes and allow other countries also to ask questions and participate. So over to you, Zambia. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Zambia. Team Zambia, you can proceed.
Oh, okay.
Will you be sharing your presentation or do you want me to share?
I'm sharing the screen.
Matty, I think you share, they've been having challenges with their computer. I think just share and then they can use Lynn's computer to phone to present. They've been having challenges with their audio the whole day.
They're sharing. I don't know if you're able to see the screen.
No.
Okay. Okay, you can do this. You are not sharing it, but you can. This can work. Yes. Just the next slide. Yes, this is Zambia. Francis Chigwe representing Zambia. Then we start from the activities that are taking place in our areas, in our respective communities. Activities undertaken, and these are the activities that are working well. From our communities, we do engagement of village men and women in conducting sensitization activities on harmful practices and community dialogue in respective communities in spearheading and mobilizing community members. The second activity is engage traditional leaders, which are chiefs, through paralegal tests based in the community to punish perpetrators that are practicing and involved in child marriages. The third one is engagement of parents at household level by giving them accurate information based on harmful cultural practices, access to SRH services, and information available to adolescents and young people in the communities. Instead of parents marrying off their children because of the harmful practices that are available in our communities, we tell them not to do that, but giving them the accurate information where we do talk about the dangers that are in early marriages and teenage pregnancy. The other one is conducting radio sensitization on local radio station, which has a wider coverage on getting community feedback as they contribute their views and opinions, and how to promote access to sexual and reproductive health services. This is done by or through phone calls and text messages when we've given that airtime by radio presenter. The other thing is school sensitization and awareness on harmful practices and encouraging pupils not to drop out from schools because of marriages or because of pregnancies. Encouraging them to have access to sexual and reproductive health information and services, and also to report cases of sexual harassment. This may be from teachers, from their schoolmates, from any other, not to keep it as a secret, but to speak out so that the people can help. The other thing is engagement of health practitioners in sensitization and awareness raising dialogues in the communities for broader and better explanation. This includes giving care to those in need. In case of anyone found in a rape case, medical treatment required. Health practitioners took this part in and make sure this person is
I think we've lost Mozambique. Okay, they're back. Mozambique? Mozambique, are you there?
It's actually Zambia, Jane.
Oh, Zambia, sorry. Okay, Zambia. Zambia, are you there?
I think they're coming back here. Team Zambia.
I can see Evelyn is here. Evelyn, are we able to use your audio? Evelyn?
Evelyn just asked to mute her.
Okay, sorry about that. We are not back online. Sorry for that confusion.
Recording in progress.
Francis. Oh.
Zambia, are you back?
Okay. Just a continuation on where we ended. We said school sensitization and awareness on harmful cultural practices and encouraging pupils not to drop out from school. Okay. Not to drop out from school because of child marriage and teenage pregnancies, encouraging them to have access to sexual and reproductive health information and services. Also to report cases of sexual harassment. We said this can be from teachers, their schoolmates, and other people. Engagement of all the school administration in our area to accept the victims of child marriage to go back to school. This is achieved by putting them on a campaign for female education programs where this program are, and introducing a software of paying school fees to those who cannot manage to settle the bills at once. Can you move to the next slide? Now we come to best practices again, positive responses. Under this, we do use of recreational activities to conduct awareness and sensitization on harmful cultural practices and promotion of sexual and reproductive health information and services, which include use of drama, sporting activities, and art. This attracts a lot of adolescents and young people as compared to the recent past. We proved this from the groups that we had before introducing these recreational activities. We had a few number of people joining our Champion of Change groups. So far, we've a lot of people joining, which is more than 55 groups of 30 of whom made in our communities. If it's to count them, all these people may up to 1,650 champions of change, and we are sooner or later will see the greater change coming in our communities. The other thing is information of on-saving asset growth groups for SAO that support girls and boys that they are withdrawn from child marriages or early marriage survivors. Instead of letting them be in marriage because they are saying they can't manage to support their families, we encourage them to join these OSAWE groups so that they can earn that money and they save the money, also allowed to borrow the money in order to earn their living. Next slide. Challenges. We've come to challenges. We only have few challenges here. The first challenge is transport to communities to conduct activities and where awareness, as some areas are in remote locations. You know, we represent communities which are in wards, and we need to go to cover all the catchment area we've given, which is the ward. Now, we have a challenge of transport in some areas as we indicated. The other thing is some community members lack information on sexual and reproductive health services, claiming champion of change are promoting promiscuity. This is the challenge. We may talk to the children, to the young people about decision making, right decision making, and how they can make their own decision about the sexuality. But some members of the community, the paralegal or the law enforcers, some do not respond quickly as we want that case to be treated. As a result, we may lose some of our friends, just like that, got married. Next slide. Recommendation come from the challenges we have. For transport, we need the provision of bicycles to transport youth networks. And for those who lack knowledge about sexuality and other things, we need society organization to build the capacity on youth network for sustainability, even after the projects comes to an end, to have a stronger youth social movement. The paralegal desk to have a specific location to operate from. Maybe they said because we don't have that paralegal desk in our area, then we cannot handle that case. If there is provision of paralegal desks in various locations, maybe they can respond to our clients as early as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Zambia, for the very brief and clear presentation. I will give the floor to countries to raise any questions. Malawi, I see your hand raised. So Malawi, you go first.
Thank you a lot for good presentation. Actually, we don't have the question. We just want to appreciate that. It's a wonderful presentation, straightforward, very clear. Thank you. Nice presentation.
Thank you, Malawi, for the compliment. Okay, Mozambique. Mozambique, go ahead.
Algumas vezes já tiveram caso em que familiar com um líder comunitário esteja numa união prematura. E se já, como é que o líder comunitário agiu perante essa situação? A outra questão é como é que a escola recebe essas crianças resgatadas das uniões prematuras?
Translation, please.
Bom, eu só gostaria de parabenizar a vossa iniciativa de apostar nas artes, pois ajuda a desenvolver o autoemprego de jovens e atrai outros jovens a participarem do vosso clube para que vocês possam lutar com eles para acabar com as uniões prematuras no vosso país.
So there are two questions and one comment. The first question has to do with the fact that you mentioned you work with the chiefs, the traditional leaders. So in a situation, they want to know whether you've been or you've ever come across a situation whereby a family member of a chief is involved in early child marriage. And if this has ever happened, what was the reaction of such chief towards such situation? And the second question is, how do you handle the the situation of children who have been rescued from early child marriage in case these need to be reintegrated in schools. Now, last, but not least, they want to congratulate you for the great work that you are doing, for the initiative that you have, especially the fact that you're integrating art in the work that you're doing, because this becomes an attractive factor for the youth, and this might help you to jointly together with such you fight against the early child marriage. So well done.
Thank you, Mozambique. Yes, so the two questions. The first one relating to what if you have ever encountered
we had that
a member
case,
of the traditional leader's family involved in early child marriage, and if it has happened,
in
what
that kind
did
of
you do
situation,
to respond to
whereby
that? And the other
punishing them
one
to
is
pay maybe
with regard to the situation of
or to
rescued
punish them
girls
so that
from ending child marriage
they
and the reintegration process. So Zambia, over to you.
Yes. Did you hear what is from
Zambia? I think you're muted.
Okay.
Unmute your mic, Zambia.
It's unmuted now. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, from the question that arises about the reaction of chiefs, we have one chief in our program area who is active in this project. A family member, in fact, the son to the chief who committed the case like teenage pregnancy, being responsible for that pregnancy. The chief didn't consider it to be, didn't spare his child. He punished the child to bring what everybody brings when getting involved in that case, whereby from the statutory laws that they are made, also the chief made him his child to pay, is it 4 goats? Yes, 4 goats. So we're happy that even the chief are taking reaction, not only to those people outside their families, even to their family members, especially the son to this chief. May I answer the question?
You certainly did.
Okay. The second question, what was the second question, please?
How do you handle the situation regarding to rescued girls from early child marriage? If there is, for instance, process of reintegration involved. Mozambique, if I'm mistaken, please, you can unmute the question.
That's correct.
Yes, what we do when we have some retrieved from marriages, we report them or we refer them to the Child Protection Police for guidance and counseling. After that, we encourage them to join the Osawe group so that they can start living on their own by earning some money. Savings, yes.
Mozambique, is the question addressed?
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zambia. Do we have other questions for Zambia? Tanzania, Zimbabwe? Do you have questions for Zambia? It looks like everyone is happy with the presentation and they don't have other questions. So if everyone agrees with me, can you clap? Okay. Thank you so much, Zambia. Let's give a round of applause to Zambia. All right. Thank you so much. I think we have all countries presented. With that, I would like to thank all of you for the brief presentation, for the interactive participation, for the very important questions that you have raised, and the very interactive discussions that we had with regard to your best practices, the challenge that you face in ending child marriage while working within your communities and across. So thank you so much for this session. I would like to give the floor to Jenny for our last conclusion of the day. But before saying goodbye, I would like to request 5 of the countries to share with me the presentations. In Mozambique, kindly your usual support in translating and sharing the presentations to English. Thank you so much. Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you so much, Meti. Am I speaking to myself? No, thank you so much, Meti. That was amazing, guys. You guys are doing such an amazing job. Like, I am so impressed. You know, if we can, I'm sorry, my earphones have just dropped off. I'm saying, if you guys are doing such an amazing job, and I'm thinking, and you're still young people, can you imagine if you had the resources, the support, how much more you can do? But you have been able to do, okay? It's called putting a dent on earth, okay? Putting a dent on earth. So you're doing your part. You have put a dent, okay, in ending child marriage. So I'm so super proud of what you have done, from the clubs in Zambia to the media advocacy in Zimbabwe, to the economic empowerment in Mozambique. I am super impressed by what you guys are doing. So I want to give you guys, you know, I am a teacher, and so as teachers, we kind of give people something we call assignments. So I'm going to give you an assignment for you to go and in your teams, okay, in your country teams, to come up with key recommendations. You've listened to today from morning, you had from Selam, okay? You had from the country representation, you've had from all our discussions you've been having. I want you to come up with key recommendations. 1, to your government, okay? 2, to the African Union, and 3, to your fellow youths, okay? So that we're going to have that presentation tomorrow. So and here is my challenge to you. I want you to present them in the most innovative, in the most acute and chicest way that you can be able to. So I want to see creativity tomorrow as you present your recommendations, okay, to 3 people: your government, okay, the African Union, okay, and other young people like yourselves. You want to give recommendations. What are the key things as young people you can be able to do to end child marriage, okay? So tomorrow I want to see creativity, okay? It's tomorrow I want to see. Meti, do we have? I think we should have a prize. Selam, we should have a prize for the most creative country, okay? We'll think of something of the most creative country and we'll vote to see which country is most creative in how they present their thing. So, guys, thank you so much. I want us to stand and have a jig, okay? Malawi, you guys look as if you have the most energy. Are you able to lead us with bye-bye song. Okay, a song just to end the day with a justo. Okay. Can you all stand up? Sorry, I can't stand up now today. Like right now, at least earlier I could stand up, but now I am using my phone, so I'm not able to do much. So if you can be able to stand up, I can't see guys standing up. Really? Stand up. Stand up. Zambia, guys, please stand up. Zambia, I can't see you guys standing up. Mozambique, are you up? Tanzania, tafadhali nsimameni. Zim, you still owe us a dance from today lunch. You guys, you came in late. So, Malawi, are you able to lead us with that song?
Yes. Yes, we are late.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. And then we want to see want to see dance moves, like, want to see dance moves.
Dance moves, dance moves.
Let's see dance moves. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Malawi. Thank you so much, Malawi. Thank you, everybody. Let's give a big clap to Malawi. You guys are amazing. Yay! Amazing. So tomorrow, guys, as you can see, today has been a long day, but tomorrow we need to start on time. So we are going to start at 8:30. Okay, and not a 9. So we can make up for the lost time today. So if you can come in at 8:30, you're young people, you can wake up early. Let's start at 8:30. We'll be starting at 8:30 with a dance from Zimbabwe. Because you guys came in late, we are going to start with a dance from Zimbabwe at 8:30. Okay, so thank you so much. Please make sure that you get your logistics from your country team. So your country team, just sit in as we end the meeting. Sit in. The country team will give you logistics and any issues that you're having at the location that you are at. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
And bye bye.
Sorry.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Before we go, is 8:30 Central African time? What is it? Because we're in Mozambique.
Central African time. Central African time. That's
Central
your time.
African time.
I'm using
So that's our time.
South African. Yeah, I'm using Central African time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Not East African time. I will not make you wake up that early. So it's I know. I will not make you wake up that early. So it's Central African time. So thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow, and please have fun. And remember my assignment. I will ask you tomorrow morning my assignment. 3 recommendations to your country, African Union, and other